What up, what up, what up? I'm AC Cruz. You know who you are. Welcome to my podcast. How's it going? Everything good? You good? Your mouth good? Your kids good? Lovely. Today's guest is Neto Gutierrez. Ernest Gutierrez, but he goes by Neto. He's been around for quite some time, and he was kind of like a, what do they call it, a hired gun when they need somebody to sing and come on over and join the band. That's Neto. We'll get to know him in a minute. Who knew? He was from the west side of San Antonio. As a matter of fact, when I was a kid in the late 70s, my first taste to San Antonio is the west side. Los Mirasoles Coors, hombre. No chingues. And I will let the subscribers know, the listeners know, because I know we got listeners from all over the world. Thank goodness for that. I always mention Australia, Philippines, Singapore, Germany, of course, todo Mexico, chingao. I want to hear from some of the new subscribers. But anyway, yeah. So the west side of San Antonio, forget about it, man. You got the north side, which is pretty much, I don't want to say the upper class, but George Strait lives up there. the Dominion. So yeah, north side's good, south side's okay. I live in the south side. I love the south side, man. It's the east side. It's good. More of African American people there, more black people there. Un poquito de raza on the east side, but that's changed slowly but surely. But on the west side, no hombre, no chicas con the west side, man. It's a tough neighborhood, tough side of town, but it's changing for the better. And you know, that's what I like about San Antonio. It is so versatile, so welcoming to every ethnicity. And right now, we're smack dab in the middle of Fiesta. Now, if you've never been to San Antonio, Fiesta is like 10 days, or it started on the 31st until the 10th of April, I believe. Fiesta, forget about it, man. It's great. You got Niosa, which is Night in Old San Antonio. You've got Flambeau Parade. You got River Parade. You've got the Battle of the Flower Parade. No, hombre, it's a big party. It's kind of like New Orleans, Mardi Gras. Not as big. However, it is fun. I'll tell you that right now. You know what? Now that I think about it, I'm going to have to send the city of San Antonio an invoice for this plug, this advertisement for the city of San Antonio. Ay, Dios mío. It's fun. Check it out. Fiesta. Viva Fiesta. Let's go ahead and get on with the podcast.
On the next AC Cruz Podcast.
Former vocalist for Artie y Grupo Suave. Former lead vocalist for Ybarra y Fuego. And Tejano Highway 281. Now he's on his own and calling his own shots. I see the song that you released recently.
Pobrecito de mi corazón.
I love that. It's a remake, but I love it, man. I loved it.
Yes.
Please tell us how that came to be.
Well, I've always been a David Lee fan.
Me too.
Pete had a gig out in West Texas, and they were messing around in the living room con Pobrecito de mi corazón, and I'm like, hey, I love that song. So I started singing it, and he goes, oh yeah, let's do it, and practiced it. We didn't even play it at the gig. Pero I came back, and I told Pete, I said, vamos a grabarla. He goes, sí, yeah, let's do it. I went on my own and recorded it on my own.
With what musicians?
The guys that I had, estaban que sí, que no. I dije, well, you know what? I'm just going to go with Sevi. And Sevi got those guys to record it for me.
Well, Sevi, I dig it. I dig it when I hear it, man.
And I said, Sevi, I want to do this song. I want to keep it on the same key. He goes, are you sure? It's pretty high. Le dije, tú nomás grábamela. Sí. And Sevi did what he did. And there it was. And then I released it.
It's Neto Gutierrez.
On the next AC Cruz Podcast.
So, I have the pleasure of having on the podcast someone who was supposed to be here years ago when his former bandmates were here. But
no, es que me corrieron. No te creas.
It's your deal, man. Anyway, this is Neto Gutierrez, also known as Neto G.
All right.
Pimp Daddy G. Chica.
No, un saludo especial a AC para your followers. Everybody, you got a big following. Un saludo a todos.
Thank you, man. Te corrieron, pero that's okay. That's your deal. I ain't gonna say nothing.
Dije de mejores lugares me han corrido. No te creas, AC. No, they didn't fire me. It was a mutual agreement.
Neto, now do you prefer called Ernesto, Neto, G? You tell me, man.
Neto, just Neto.
Neto?
You can call me Neto, yes.
How many recordings have you recorded?
I've done a few CDs with Tejano Highway 281. I think I've been on maybe 3 or 4 CDs of theirs. When I went on my own, saqué otra carretera, se llama el CD.
How appropriate.
How appropriate, right? Otra carretera.
Sí, me gusta.
No, I have that one, and then I've released about maybe 3 or 4 singles after that, and I'm working on another CD or album or whatever you call them now.
Sure. Where are you originally from, man?
I was born and raised in San Antonio, Texas, and I'm still here.
Chingón.
Yes, sir, in the Meadow West Side.
Ah, sí, ¿qué parte de West Side?
I'm over here by Lackland, 90 and 410 area. I was brought up over there by 36 and 90 on Tala Budweiser.
Ah, Simón. Bueno, yo soy uno de los orejones del West Side.
Ah, hijo, no, hombre, qué bárbaro.
Sí, vengo, sí. I mean, I'm originally from Freeport, right outside of Houston, right. But my first taste of San Antonio was in the Mirasoles, the courts.
No way. That
Yes.
was not too far from my house.
Right there off of El Paso and General McMullen.
So your HEB was my HEB.
Las Palmas, a huevo.
Oye, I went back a few months over there. Dije, no, hombre, I'm not coming back to this HEB.
Oye, te digo una cosa, güey, que todavía tengo familia ahí, güey.
Oh, my God. How many years were you in Freeport?
Until I was 11.
Oh, so you were 11. Ah, no, entonces, porque yo tengo un primo también en Freeport. Well, tenía un primo en Freeport.
Sí.
And I loved it. We'd go to the beach.
Yeah.
No,
Forget about it, man. Grew up on the beach. I grew up on the beach.
And it wasn't too far from Lake Jackson either, ¿verdad?
I see it.
Wow.
Well, yeah. And of course, here's the deal. My dad's radio station, KBRZ, was a couple of miles from the beach, you know? So, yeah.
Wow. I've heard a lot of things about your family.
Oh, yeah.
Your sister, your dad,
my brother.
Y'all been in this business for a long time, no?
You know, when somebody asked me how many years experience do I have in this business, I said, well, counting my dad, my brother, my sister, and me, got well over 100 years.
Oh, my goodness. That's good.
Yeah, but I moved to San Antonio when I was a teenager, and I grew up on the west side. And then,
the west side.
Yeah, and then I came here to the south side. I moved to Valley High, y luego me arranqué para Houston, y luego para el Valle, y luego Corpus, and I call it Quest, yeah. But anyway.
So you were here in Valley High?
Oh, yeah.
I that's where I'm at. I'm here at Valley High in Ray Ellison.
No way.
Yeah, right. Ahí está la entrada de Lackland.
Simon. Now, you went to high school in John Jay, I'm assuming.
No. Well, I live here now, but I was brought up in the west side over there on General McMullen. Okay. I mean, 36 in between the... Pero, ¿te acuerdas dónde estaba la fire station? Ahí en la 36.
Simon.
Right there. So I went to Gardendale Elementary. I went to Brentwood Middle School. And then I went to John F. Kennedy.
Okay.
At Rocket. That's where I'm from, with the west side. And I've lived here all my life.
What got you into music, man?
You know what? As AC, a lot of people ask me that. I started singing in church. My grandpa tocaba el bajo sexto y iba a la church y nos llevaba a la church. And then I grew up in a Pentecostal church. He would play the bajo, and one time my sister got up to say a passage from where we were kids. Se levantó mi sister, and she went up because they say, anybody want to say something, un texto or something from the Bible, whatever. She got up, and I said, well, you know what? I'm going to get up too, and I'm going to do something better. I'm going to sing. Yo ni cantaba, ni sabía lo que estaba diciendo. Pero I got up there and I sang in front of the whole church. I was like maybe 7 or 8 years old. That's how it all started. I would see my grandpa play the bajo sexto. And then all of a sudden, we started singing in church. And a mí no me dejaban cantar. I was not allowed to listen to secular music. It's what they call worldly music.
Sure.
No me dejaban escucharla. Y I was not allowed. Me agarraron al puro pedo.
Sí.
And I always wanted to, escondidas, escuchaba la música. Al principio, I was into los Bookies, los Yonix.
Oh, wow.
Los Caminantes. Música de esa clase. Y luego después, when I was like maybe 15, 16, I started listening to Tejano music. Salía Laura Canales. Fíjate, la canción que siempre me llamaba la atención era una canción de Patsy Torres. que te acuerdas que decía pa pam pa pam pam pa pam pam pa pam pa pam pam pa pam
Oh,
pam
yeah.
pam 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 pam
Yeah.
pam pam. Oye, digo, hey man, I like that song. And that's how I started listening to Tejano music. Pero también se escuchaba la música de conjunto. We would listen to the conjunto music and all that. And I loved it. And that's how I started liking the music. I wanted to sing it. No más que como te digo, no me dejaban. I didn't, even if I had wanted to start earlier as a teenager, I wasn't allowed. It was frowned upon because no, nosotros no hacíamos eso. It was until I think I was like in my late 20s, late 30s when I started.
Late 20s or early 30s?
Maybe early 30s.
Got it.
I don't know.
Go ahead.
Right. ¿Te acuerdas de cómo se llama el grupo que estaba D. Burleson?
Culturas.
Culturas. Okay. So they had a guitar player, le decían TJ, and he started, after Culturas broke up, whatever, he got out, he started his group, and it was like in that, I remember like in 97, I started joining Tejano bands. And that was the first group. It was Grupo Casanova. We never recorded anything, pero we were starting to play here and there. And that was back in the like 97, and then 98. It wasn't until, I think it was 2005, 2006, I joined a local group from here, RDV Grupo Suave.
Yes.
I don't know if you know Artie, right?
Yeah.
They had Ybarra on the accordion.
Yes, que no con Emilio.
Yeah, exactly. Well, he had left Emilio, and he had joined RDV Grupo Suave. And I came in as a backup vocalist for Artie. That lasted maybe a year or so. And then Pete and I started our own group, which was called Pete Ybarra Grupo Fuego.
Of
and
course.
Man, we were playing here all over here town. Hacíamos un desmadre.
Yeah, imagino Pete.
I mean, things that I don't even want to talk about on here. I have a real funny story with Pete Ybarra, but that's another story for another
Tell us now. Tell us now, please. I mean, as long as it doesn't get Pete pissed off, man.
No. Actually, I'm the one that got embarrassed about it. We were playing at ¿te acuerdas que el Cattleman's?
Yes.
I think they knocked it down already. And I told everybody this story, and I mean at my expense. The laugh is at my expense. Pero anyway, Pete en un tiempo se puso, like, he gained a lot of weight. Se le dormían los dedos. Batallaba a veces para ponerse la ropa. Because not because he was really, really heavy, but because I don't know, he was having problems with his hands.
Too.
Pero en esta ocasión, we were playing at Cattleman's, and we were in the parking lot. Y ya estaba oscuro, and we were coming on at 10 o'clock. And ya faltaban unos few minutes, and Peter says, "Hey, Neto, I need your help." And I said, "¿Qué pasó?" He goes, "I can't zip up my pants." Le digo, "What do you mean you can't zip up your pants?" Digo, "No, I can't, my finger." Le dije, "Pues, ¿cómo vas a tocar el acordeón si se te duermen los dedos? I mean, how are you going to do it?" No, es que no, I just can't. I don't know if he couldn't read. I don't know. He could not zip up his pants.
¿Y luego?
Oh, my goodness, here it goes. Le dije, "Man, well, what do you want me to do?" Digo, "Well, help me." Le dije, "What are you talking? I'm not going to help you." Ya faltaban como 5 minutes para ir que we were supposed to go on stage.
Simón.
I mean, I started looking around, y estaba el parking lot lleno, pero no veía tanto los carros ahí. Oh my goodness. So I get in front of Pete, and I start trying to zip his zipper up.
Yeah.
I'm right in front of him. I'm trying to zip his pants up. No, they wouldn't come up. They go, no. Oh my goodness. So there was something locked on the zipper, whatever. So I got on my knees, or I squatted down.
No, man.
Yes. I squatted down because I'm trying to grab the thing and zip it up.
Uh-huh.
Y estoy así, y pues I'm looking around, and todo embarrassed que no vengan carros or whatever like that. So I squat down like this, and I'm right in front of him like this. Oye, no me pone un carro, me ponen las luces. And what do they see? is Petey Ybarra standing, and I'm in there right in front of him trying to zip his pants up. And oh my goodness, we laughed for years about that, man.
Pero, oye, pero tú eres camarada, pero camarada, ¿eh?
Camarada, man, hijo. Not only did I got embarrassed with that, they had that laugh at my expense for a long time.
I'm sure they, yeah, hell yeah.
Yeah, because I mean, te echa la luz el carro, y what do they see? You know?
Sí.
Like, oh my God.
So how long were you with Petey, man?
Oh man, with Petey Ybarra, I was maybe 3 or 4 years. 3 or 4 years, because then in 2010 is when I joined Tejano Highway 281.
How did you come across these guys?
With Tejano Highway 281?
Yes.
Well, a very good friend of mine, my best friend, Fito Riojas, he's been the one that's always introduced me into the Tejano music. First, he introduced me to Pete and Artie, and then he somehow, back then it was MySpace. Tejano Highway 281 was looking for a bass player and a singer. And my friend Fito did both. So he sent him a message and told him, hey, I play the bass, I play, and I sing, whatever. As a matter of fact, Fito is one of the original vocalists for Tejano Highway 281. If you go to their first CD, he's on there. So he joined the band first. And he kept on asking me, hey, join the band. Le dije, no, pues you're the vocalist. What am I going to do? I mean, I can't do that to you. He goes, no. I mean, I don't mind. Just vente.
Oh, Neto, so you don't play any instruments at all?
I play bass and the bajo. I'm learning to play the bajo quinto.
Oh, okay, cool.
Yeah,
¿Y luego?
Yeah. I didn't know Chris. I didn't know anybody from the band. And my friend Fito, he was already in the band. And they had a gig in San Marcos. I'll never forget, man. The very first day, I didn't know anybody. I show up with a cowboy hat y todo ahí, todo tejanado. And no, tú sabes cómo Chris me sacó después. Later on, me sacó la garra y todo. No, me parecía tachuela. But anyway, that's how I met the guys. I only knew my best friend, Pito.
Yeah.
And that's how I started. I had never practiced with them. I had never met the guys. I just show up and, okay, so what are we singing? What songs do you know? Blah, blah, blah. And that's the way it started.
But it's always been that way with that Tejano Highway 281. They do nothing but covers, right?
Right. They do a lot of covers and cumbias and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So, but the thing about it is that he's always had his music selected. Ya estaba grabada la música y todo.
Okay.
So that was, and I'm not talking bad about them or whatever, but that was one of my problems with that. Porque yo quería hacer algo, with my estilo, my voice, my key.
I think that they brought that up when they were here last about one of the songs that they wanted to release is actually an original that you wrote.
Yes. It's funny you asked that because I had already released that song a year prior to that.
¿Cómo se llama la canción?
Eres tú. Me iba salido de la band. You know what? The funny thing about it is that I was with that band 3 separate times. Porque me salía, entraba, me volvía a entrar y me salía y volvía a entrar. So on that one, Eres tú, because I write songs. That's what I do. I've written a lot of songs. I haven't recorded them all, pero that's what I love to do. That's my passion, to write. So esa canción, I think I released it in 2017 under my name. Y luego después, when I joined Tejano 281, we re-released it.
How did it do?
It did great. It did great. It was something different. It was something different from what they were used to releasing. They did more like cumbias and conjunto, and they did something. They did Tejano, but mine was just a little different.
Yeah.
And mine was original. Cada vez en cuando me manda un message Chris y me dice que, man, that everywhere they go, they ask him for the song.
Well, that's good, man. I mean, I've said it many times before on this podcast to several other artists that I find songwriters, composers fascinating because they're able to convey a certain message in a song.
Yeah, no, you create. That's your creation.
Yeah.
And you're conveying something. You're expressing something, a feeling, a story, and that's beautiful to do.
Have any other artists recorded any songs of yours?
George Rivas recorded a song of mine, No Te Quiero Perder. I've seen it on YouTube, but I don't know where he had it, on what CD or what. But he recorded No Te Quiero Perder about 10, 11 years ago.
So when you left to Highway 281 for good, I'm assuming for good?
I left them in 2019.
You went off on your own or no gig or whatever?
Yes, on my own. Fíjate, 2019, cuando me salí de 281, empecé a grabar. Dije, man, me voy a arrancar. I'm going to start gigging, blah, blah, blah. So I started gigging early 2020, and I did like 2-3 gigs y nos parquearon.
Sí.
Por COVID.
Yeah.
y yo Superstar me iba a arrancar. Y
no, but wah.
Yeah, so, and ever since then, it's been a struggle. And believe it or not, to this day, it's gotten better. But to this day, todavía batallas con eso.
I see the song that you released recently.
Pobrecito de mi corazón.
I love that. It's a remake, but I love it, man. I loved it.
Yes.
Please tell us how that came to be.
Well, I've always been a David Lee fan. I love David Lee Garza de Musicales.
Me too.
Pete had a gig out in West Texas. Tú sabes, Pete, Pete plays a lot of David Lee también.
Yeah.
He does. His forte is conjunto. Pero, I mean, he does a lot of like David Lee style. And they were messing around in the living room con Pobrecito de mi corazón. And I'm like, hey, I love that song. So I started singing it and he goes, oh, yeah, let's do it. And we practiced it. We didn't even play it at the gig. Pero I came back and I told Pete, I said, vamos a grabarla. Dijo, sí, yeah, let's do it. I went on my own and recorded it on my own.
With what musicians?
Sevi, Contreras, Tweet. Son músicos, buenos músicos. The guys that I had, daban que sí, que no. I dije, well, you know what? I'm just going to go with Sevi. And Sevi got those guys to record it for me.
Well, so I dig it. I dig it when I hear, man.
Yeah, no. I love that song. I've always loved David Lee Garza de Musicales. And so I went to Sevi and I said, Sevi, I want to do this song. I want to keep it on the same key. He goes, are you sure? It's pretty high. Le dije, tú nomás grábamela. Sí. And Sevi did what he did. And there it was. And then I released it. I've released, with Sevi, I've released 2 songs. También grabé con él Mi Última Parranda. You remember that song, Mi Última Parranda?
I remember that song, but no, I haven't heard your version.
Well, you need to hear it, brother. You need to hear it. También con Myra. Myra helped me release that song. By the way, special shout out to Myra D. Right now, well, I don't know if I should say this. I mean, I might as well say it because it's going to come out anyway. And I love all my producers. I've used Sevi. I've used Eddie Perez. By the way, que le mando un saludo especial a Eddie Perez, a Sevi, Eric Avalos. They're all very good friends of mine. I love those guys. Right now, I am working on something with Gilbert Velasquez.
Wow.
So right now, I have so many songs that I've recorded, AC, and I'm trying to get the CD together. But I have a very few good songs that I could release. But I'm gonna wait on to see on what I do with this song with Gilbert Velasquez.
Yeah.
And so that's what I'm working on right now. I'm constantly working on my music, Casey.
Yeah.
A matter of fact, this song that I'm doing with Gilbert Velasquez is original. It's an original song of mine. Be looking out for it. Ahorita rato va a salir. Well, I'm not sure if I'm going to release this one next, pero esta canción se llama Mira Nomás.
Mira Nomás. Oh yeah, real quick. Only because I've been in this business for so long that I can tell when a song is produced by Gilbert, by Chente, Es Más, Guacha, Chewy down in the valley. You know what I'm saying?
Oh yeah.
I can tell you, that's, and I make it a point to tell the artist, don't tell me he produced this. I can figure it out, man. You know?
¿Te acuerdas que back in the day, oías una canción, that's Manny.
Oh yeah. Manny's a badass, man. Yeah, he's gonna be on the podcast really soon, man.
Oh wow, I can't wait to hear it. Yeah, back in the 90s, oías una canción, that's Manny.
You know, I was telling somebody, I can't recall, it was Johnny Ramirez or my sister, Abby. I said, what do you think about this angle when I present Manny Guerra. Manny Guerra is to Tejano as Berry Gordy is to Motown.
Absolutely.
You think?
Absolutely. Oh, absolutely. I mean, who do you think about when Tejano was at its peak? I mean, where was this music coming from?
Even before the Capital EMIs and the Sonys came into the picture, it was Cara Records and Manny Guerra.
Manny Guerra, yeah.
And of course, you got Freddie Martinez, of course.
Right.
And I want to thank him. He did the podcast. I want to thank him. But let's say this. If you were an artist, Tejano artist at that time, you wanted to be with Manny, right?
You wanted to be with Manny, of course.
Yeah.
You wanted to be with Manny because, I mean, he was belting all those hits out.
I talked to Abraham about this. And he says, man, I love Manny. Manny was great to us. 4 or 5 albums that we did with Manny. And they were all great, you know? So the man's got credentials, if you will. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, of course. Without a doubt. I mean, this guy, it didn't get any better than Manny.
And Gilbert Velasquez, who was a student of Manny, he says to himself on my podcast, he says, one of my mentors was Manny Guerra.
Manny Guerra, yeah. Matter of fact, that's what we spoke about the other day when I was talking to Gilbert. I mean, he started working for Manny, and that's where he came out of.
And he must have been listening and doing something right, because 17 Grammys later, you know?
Right. And you know what? Funny thing about it, I didn't know Manny at the time, but I knew his brother Rudy Guerra, porque Rudy Guerra cantaba en la iglesia.
Sí, todavía. Sí.
I haven't heard or talked to him in a long time. You know what? As a matter of fact, I got to sing with Jimmy Edward.
Wow.
In church.
In church. Yes. Jimmy, yeah.
Yes, in paz descanse. Man, I remember Jimmy Edward walked into my church. We were in awe, man. We were like, wow, Jimmy Edward. And he got up on it, and I was playing the bass back then at church. He played the bass, and I played the guitar.
Wow.
Jimmy, yeah, and we were singing in church. We did a few songs. We did a few church songs.
Of course, I met Jimmy. I met Gibby. All those guys used to come down to play for my dad to Freeport, to Angleton, the surrounding areas. But I did meet Rudy Guerra in a church there in Freeport. And he did a show, and it was real cool because I got a T-shirt that said Rudy Guerra. Really cool, man.
Rudy Guerra, yeah. No, man, I remember Rudy Guerra. Even his son, el hijo de él cantaba también, el hijo de Rudy Guerra.
Así es.
He cantaba en la church. But yeah, I never got to meet Manny Guerra personally, pero I've heard a lot of great stories about that.
Well, I'm looking forward to talking to him because he's got this new book out.
So he's completely retired.
Yes, retired, and every now and then he will record an artist, gospel artist. Can't wait to talk to him, man.
Matter of fact, I recorded on this last CD, even ya que me iba salido del grupo, the 21.
Sí.
2 years ago, le grabé 2 canciones on his last, I think it was a second to last CD. Le grabé Tambalea, original de Beto Ramón. Y se las grabé ahí en el estudio que era de Manny, ahí por la Pleasanton.
Amen Studios?
Yes, somebody else owns it now.
You never got a chance to go to the original studio behind?
No.
I live a couple of blocks away from there.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Anyway, so I guess it's safe to say you're in good hands with Gilbert Velasquez, man.
Yeah. I'm really excited. As I had heard a lot of things about him. And matter of fact, we were laughing about it because we agreed on something that a lot of people have said, that he's unapproachable. Because a lot of people are intimidated by Gilbert. And I was like, pero un día le dije, ¿sabes qué? Le voy a llamar. Le mandé un mensaje on Facebook. Le dije, nah, he's not even going to answer me. So he didn't answer me right away. And about 2 days later, he calls me. I was surprised. I was like, man, you called me. He goes, yeah, no, why not? So that changed my whole perspective. Not that I just admired him. And I just thought maybe that he would not even give me a chance.
Right.
And I was completely wrong. After talking to him for a few, about 45 minutes, I was like, man, this is the same guy that all the people talk about. I mean,
I would say right now, Neto, check this out. When I called my sister Abby, I said, hey, you think Gibby would come on my podcast? And she says, I don't think so. He's pretty busy, and blah, blah, blah. So, okay, fine.
He's a busy man.
I says, okay, well, okay. Give me his number. I'll call him anyway. We talked about it on the episode he did my podcast. I said, they tell me that you were going to be, that you probably wouldn't do my podcast because you'd be busy. He says, are you kidding me? It's like, you're AC, man. Of course I'll be there.
Man, I was like you. I was like, man, I didn't think you were gonna call me, but I was wrong. And he's a really nice guy. No, más que he's very, he's good at what he does, and he likes to have things done his way and the right way. And a lot of people sometimes have a problem with that. And but no, I like the guy. I like the guy.
I tell you what, man, you made me happy when you said, dude, I've been wanting to get on your show.
I was like, what are you talking about, man? Myra had told me one time, you know what? Even before Myra, my compadre Jimmy Cano, le gusta cagarme el palo on Facebook, because I'm always posting stupid stuff on Facebook.
Me too as well. Yeah.
No, he had told me, man, you need to call AC, man. Maybe you can get on his podcast. No sé, compadre, le dije, and I thought about también because you weren't even going to give me a chance either. That's what I thought too about you.
Yeah.
And I was like, but no, I was, maybe, you know. And then you reached out to me, and I was excited, man. I was like,
so when I called you to confirm, you're like, I don't care. I'll do it. What time?
You're like, hey, you got plans? I don't care. I'll drop my plans. What are you talking about?
You know, Adrian Solis said the same thing. He says, I don't care. I want to be on your show, man. I said, right on. He says, I'm driving my truck. I'm going to Arizona, but I'll be back. I'll pull over right now if you want me to. I said, no. You drive your truck, man. Anyway.
Have you had him on?
Who, Adrian or Gibby?
Adrian Solis.
Yeah.
Okay. He's an awesome singer.
Well, I mean, he's the one that taught me the genre of music called mariacheño.
Mariacheño, yes. That's what he does.
Yeah.
And he's good at it.
I dug it. I never heard it, but I dug it, you know?
Yeah, no. So, you know, you gave me a chance to get on here, and before I forget, I want to thank you, AC. Te quiero dar las gracias por darme la oportunidad. It's people like you that gives us that ¿cómo se dice? Platform para que la gente nos oiga, para que la gente sepa de nosotros, because sometimes we don't get the airplay that we need. You know, it's a hard business. I know you have a big following, and people say, "Wait, well, who's this guy? Who's this guy?" So, I want to thank you for that.
You bet, man. But I was when I used to be a program director for radio stations, I would take a chance if I heard a brand new artist. Let me put this song on, see what the people think. Even Frank Zuniga and several Javier Gavan, hope he's doing well. Bob Pulido, they said, "Dude, you've always had that knack for picking a hit from an artist." For example, Intocable, Límite, Tradición del Norte, songs from Bobby. What was even better was when I would tell Bobby, hey, you released this single, it's not doing well, no requests, no movement on it. And Bobby would say, you know what? Jump on another one. You pick your song, pick the song that you want to go.
Right. Let me ask you this, AC. I know this is my interview, but I want to ask you something.
You make yourself at home, do what you want, man.
Thank you, brother. Ahorita me estaba tomando una cervecita. Can I say that?
Yeah. Tell you what.
Oh, okay.
Salud. I'm drinking a Sprite. Usually,
yeah, I'm on a diet, so I'm doing natural light. Oh yeah. In your opinion, how are hits made these days?
Ooh.
¿Me entiendes? And I ask you this because back in the day, when we had the big record labels, they pretty much threw the song in the radio, and the radios played it, and it was a bigger chance to be a hit. What do you consider a hit these days?
It's kind of hard to tell because of all the streaming going on. For example, there's no consistency when it comes to streaming because you're not releasing one single. This is the latest single from Neto Gutierrez. And let's say somebody has an internet station and they decide, you know what, I don't like that song by Neto. I'm going to play this song by Neto. Or even big name artists, for example, Bobby Pulido or Intocable or what have you. They release a song, well, I don't like that one. I like this one better, okay? And it's kind of hard to chart a record because there's so many platforms to listen to others.
See, and back to my question, how do they determine which song is a hit? Because you've got all these internet stations, you've got the terrestrial radio stations.
I think it all comes back on the artist. You know what, Myra D, I want you to focus on this single and this single only. And stations don't want to play it, don't play it then, you know?
Right.
But do what we can to chart this if we can, get it played, get it added. But don't go for another single until it's run its course.
Right.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Has there ever been a case where an artist releases a single and it doesn't do well, but the radio stations pick another song and it becomes a hit?
Yes.
Something they didn't release.
Oh, yes. That's what I was trying to tell you right now. There's been songs where a record company would send me the songs. Say, this is the new single from this artist. I would usually give it 3 to 4 weeks. I would let the rep know, hey, it's not working. And they would tell me, jump on another one. Do another one. Do what you like. And I would listen to a song. I'd pick it. And I'm not saying that I would pick the hits, but it turned out that the majority of the other stations across the country would play that song that I picked. I'm not saying that I picked hits all the time, but that was the case.
Back then, if you had a hit, it was played here in San Antonio. It was played in the Valley. It was played in Corpus. It was played in Laredo. It was played all over. And you hear music here in San Antonio, you go to the Valley, and they're playing all different songs that are hits over there. You go to Corpus, and they're playing different songs. It's not, how can I say this? They're not all on the same page. Yeah. And it's just a little weird. Was it that way back in the day?
No, it was not. Right. And again, it also has to do with the record company. The record company used to back their artists, and they would do it through money. Like, for example, for me, there's a dirty word in radio called payola. Okay.
Yes.
And I know it still exists, but with me, I would take those, what they call promotional dollars, and I would use it on t-shirts, money giveaways, bumper stickers, flyaways, contests, all kinds of shit. You know,
I heard you talk about that with Abraham. I think it was you were talking about.
Oh,
about
yeah.
You were saying that you were taking payola or something.
Yeah,
like that.
yeah.
I like shirts.
Yeah, I said, you're damn right I was. You're damn right I was. So, hey, man, I needed a promotional budget. The same thing with Freddie Martinez, man. I love that one.
Right. Yeah, no, aunque sea diferente, things are different. Yo sigo adelante como quiera. I'm doing what I do, what I love to do.
Don't give up. Don't give up.
And continue recording them songs. I'm going to concentrate more on releasing originals.
Yes.
Because I have so many.
Good call.
And digo,
call.
¿Sabes de qué? Si un día I don't do this anymore, at least I threw out my originals.
I hope I answered your question, because there's so few stations that play Tejano nowadays. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So people tune into internet radio stations or streaming online, you know?
Right.
I can create my own playlist on Spotify.
So, yeah, and like I said, it's different. But all we can hope for is keep on pressing forward and get our music played.
Así es, ojalá.
And I do appreciate all the program directors, all the DJs that spin my music, the people that my fans that call in and ask for my music. Se los agradezco de todo corazón. Y yo voy a seguir adelante.
You know what? Here's another example of a song starting from nowhere. The competitors were not playing this song in the Valley. I was one of them. Watch out. ¿Qué pasa en 9.5 was me. KIWW was Tejano. KGBT was Regional. Then you had La Más Buena, the stations across the river in Las Fronteras de México. So, watch out. La canción era Rubén Vela, Coco Rayado.
Coco Rayado.
Check it out. It was a big hit in the club. No station was on it. But in the club, forget about it, man. The dance floor was packed. 3 or 4 times they played it that night, the dance floor was packed. So I was the first one to jump on that shit, man. Say, hell yeah.
Really?
Oh, yeah.
Wow, I did not know that.
The same thing with Tigrillos. Mira que linda es Lupe. Come on now. I didn't like the song, but hey, the listeners love it, you know?
Right.
So
yeah, and at the end of the day, if the listeners love it, hey, why not? Go for it.
That's it. So there's so many avenues that you can take in making your song a hit.
Right. See, and that's why I was asking you.
And I'm hoping that answered that.
No, absolutely. And te lo agradezco. Y and I just sometimes it gets very, very complicated. Because
or frustrating, ¿no? ¿No crees tú?
No, sí, claro. You get frustrated because tú sacas algo que tú piensas que está bueno, and you think like, man, I mean, this could be a good song. And you know what? There's one thing about us artists. We take out a song and we hear it as a hit.
Of course you do.
Pero because tú en tu mente like, wow, you know, this song is going to be good. Pero a veces no sale como uno piensa.
You never know, man. You know.
Yeah, cada cabeza es un mundo. You know, you know, the other people see it a different way, and you think. So I don't get offended. It doesn't hurt my feelings or anything because, ¿sabes de qué? Si esa canción no sonó, pues le damos otra.
A huevo.
Y le damos otra hasta que. But that's what I do. That's my passion. That's what I'm going to continue doing. Hasta que me hagan caso, AC.
Before you let me go, I want to ask you, those original songs, are you going to release any of them on a full CD or one by one?
This next one that I'm going to release, como ya I was already in the works of releasing it, so I'm going to release it. Pero this one is not an original. Pero la que estoy grabando ahorita con Gilbert Velázquez sí es an original of mine. And I'm going to put them on the CD porque tengo una capirutada, brother, because grabé con Sebi, grabé con Eddie.
Good.
Grabé con. So you're looking at 4 producers.
Yeah.
So, and they're all going to be in that one CD. So, I'm working on putting that CD together.
Sí, hermano. You keep going forward, man.
Yeah, it takes time. It takes money. And of course, you know that everything's coming out of your pocket when you're doing this.
And I know that you make a lot of money doing what you do.
Más o menos. No me muero de hambre. No me muero de hambre, gracias a Dios. Pero...
You know what? Wait. Hold on. People are going to ask, so what does he do?
Soy stripper. Soy male stripper.
Oh, man. I was going to say you're a drug dealer.
No. I'm in the trucking business.
So you are a drug dealer.
No, I'm an owner operator. But I've been driving for 26 years. And recently, about 6 years ago, I said, you know what? I'm going to buy my own truck. And I did. And then I bought another one. I had 2. I went up to 3 trucks. Y dije, no. It was too stressful. Vendí. Y pues ahorita nomás tengo una.
Yeah.
But I drive
But you're doing well.
Gracias a Dios, sí.
Qué bueno.
Gracias a Dios.
Qué bueno. Neto, give us the songs to look out for. Talk to us, please.
Bueno, ahorita lo más reciente de lo que he sacado es Pobrecito de mi Corazón. That's my latest. And if you get a chance to request it in any radio station, I would love for you to hear that song. Pobrecito de mi Corazón. Be looking out for it.
Are you recording more or gigging more?
Right now, I'm recording more.
Okay. When do you plan on starting gigging?
Hopefully by midsummer. Midsummer, porque you know, in this business right now, AC, it is very difficult because if you are not an established artist, it's really hard for musicians to stick with you.
Yeah.
And that's the truth. La verdad.
And you can't blame them because they need to get paid. Yeah.
Right. No, you're right. You can't blame them. If I was playing the bass or the bajo for somebody, I mean, I want to know if we're going to have gigs. And
yeah.
Porque es un trabajo para ellos también.
Right.
So it's very difficult. It's a lot of things that, you know, those are some of the things that artists don't talk about.
Yeah.
That, you know, it's really hard to keep musicians because the way the industry is right now.
Yeah.
If you're not established, ahí te las rifas como puedas. So, solo que, anyway, gracias a Dios, ahorita, I plan to, by midsummer, I want to have my CD out, and, pero por mientras, I'm going to be taking them singles out.
So where can I find your music? Tell me before I let you go.
You can find all my music on iTunes, Spotify, on all the digital platforms.
Neto Gutierrez.
Thank you, AC Cruz. Thank you very much.
You bet, brother. Thank you so much. Continue success and stick with the original, man.
You know what? And I will, man. Hey, AC, Dios te bendiga. Gracias por todo.
Ándale, cuídate, mano. So you have it. Neto Gutierrez. Ernesto. No, I just call him Neto, eh? Thanks a lot, Neto. We're out the door. Gotta thank Romeo, DynaNation.net, Jackie Lynn, the voice girl, and of course, you, the subscribers, the listeners. Thank you so much. If you like the podcast, tell a friend. If your friends don't like it, you'll find new friends. Let's get out of here. We're out. It's time to enjoy Fiesta. Viva Fiesta. And the AC Cruz Podcast. Much love. Be safe. Pobrecito de mi corazón, the latest single from Neto Gutierrez, former backup vocalist for Artie y Grupo Suave, later lead vocalist with Ybarra y Grupo Fuego, and Tejano Highway 281. Now he's gone solo.
Pobrecito de mi corazón, anda triste por ti suspirando, le contaron que lejos te vas y que llevas tu llanto rodando.
Neto Gutierrez.
De mi corazón anda triste porque tú te vas. En dos partes quisiera partirlo y tu parte te lo has de llevar. Por si nunca volvamos a vernos, de mi amor siempre te acordarás.
Pobrecito de mi corazón, the latest single from Neto Gutierrez. Available now on all digital platforms.